Hi, my name's Claire Howard. Welcome to my Slim and Well vlogs. Today we are cooking a roast beef Yorkshire pudding wrap, a creamy rice pudding, and a lush family favourite spaghetti bolognese. So grab a cuppa and join me. I hope you enjoy the vlog. Hi and welcome back. My name's Claire Howard. Big warm welcome to my channel if you haven't been here before. If you have been here before, then a big welcome back. It's lovely to have you here. Today, as usual, following our usual flow, we are cooking some dishes that are Slim and Well friendly. But before we start with the cooking side of it, I have got something exciting that I want to unbox and open with you. So you may remember not long back, I worked with a brand called Cosori. They sent me their air fryer to try out, and I've been lucky enough to receive another item from them. And I'm so excited for this because it is literally something I have never ever used before, but I've heard of so many people using them. So what it is a pressure cooker. So loads of people in my group use pressure cookers to cook. It's amazing apparently for like soups and casseroles, bologneses, chilies, all those sorts of things. Any dish that you would maybe cook in your slow cooker, you can pop in the pressure cooker, but it cooks in a fraction of the time. So I've had a brief look online and I found so many recipes. It is looking like you can cook something like a roast chicken in half an hour or a casserole in that sort of time as well. So it's gonna save me lots of time. And you know, on those days where you've got a slow cooker recipe, but you go out to work and forget to put it in, this pot's gonna come in dead handy. It's another thing that I wish that I had maybe invested in while I didn't have an oven. I mean, with all these gadgets nowadays, we literally don't need an oven, do we? Anyway, let's get on with opening this pressure cooker, having a look inside, and then I will speak to you about what we're gonna cook in it. I've just opened this little pack that comes inside the box, and in it I have got a recipe book and a user manual, which I believe I'm definitely going to need because I have never used one of these before. Look at all these settings. I'm so excited to see what I can do. I've already spotted some things on here that I'm going to need to look into. Yogurt, like I've never made yogurt. I'm assuming I can make yogurt. Oatmeal and porridge, overnight oats, or getting your porridge cooked quickly in that in the morning, or batch cooking it, that's going to be really good. So we can do rice in here, we can steam, and we can make cake. Who would have known there were so many options of things that we can cook in it? So there's an app. There's an app here which has some recipes and bits that you can look at. A digital recipe gallery, which is amazing. So this little cookbook came in the box, and let's see what we've got. Homemade chicken broth, 6 servings, 25 minutes. Herbal chicken soup, chicken noodle soup. So these are all dishes that we can cook in here. Oxtail and minestrone. There's lots of nice ones. Apple and cranberry porridge, that sounds really nice. So 2 servings and 3 minutes cook time. So yeah, that's gonna have your porridge done really quickly. So handy for the morning. Yogurt and berry parfait. Oh, so this is exciting. We might have to try this one on making a yogurt. So I am just carrying out the before first use instructions. I've cleaned my pot and I've popped that in, I'm plugged in, and I'm now going to do the test run. So I have put the 750 ml of water inside, then I've put the lid on and clicked that shut. And then it says select pressure cook and press pressure to select high pressure. So we are going to go with pressure cook and then select pressure 5 minutes. Press start to begin cooking. So we can see we've got this preheating light going on. Just wait and see what happens. So this is just the test run to get used to using the cooker before we go on and actually use it and just check everything's working okay. The lid is currently still locked. What we're waiting for is this float valve to drop down, and that will indicate and tell us when the pot is ready to open. I'm going to chop up some onions to go in there with the beef. So I'm going to sort of seal the beef on the saute setting, then take that beef out, pop in my onions. I have one of the recipes that I googled said about adding red wine, which is obviously extra sins, and I don't want to waste my wine. So I got some red wine stock pots. These are sin free, so I'm going to add one of those and some beef stock cubes. We'll see how we get on. Sauteed my beef on both sides. It is nicely browned off. I've popped some onions in there, and then I'm just going to add the stock. Teaspoon of lazy garlic, bay leaves, okay, so I've put everything into my pot. The recipe, like I said, had red wine. I've put my couple of OXO cubes with the red wine stock pot. I've added some garlic, salt and pepper. I'm now going to put the lid on and see what happens. Okay, so we are going to go with pressure cook. Pressure. Everything is done up. We don't need to keep warm on. Let's go. My lid is on, the food is in, waiting for it to start. It is preheating, and then it's going to go on to pressure cook. It's in there for an hour, so I can't wait to have this. In the meantime, I'm going to be making my Yorkshire pudding wraps. I'm going to show you the one sin Yorkshire pudding recipe that I used the other week, and hopefully this is going to work because I've seen it done on a flat tray to then make a wrap. So I'm hoping this is going to turn out as a nice roast beef that I'm going to be able to shred. There's lots of hoping going on today. A roast beef that I'm going to be able to shred. And then my Yorkshire pudding wraps, we're going to wrap it up in with gravy and have some vegetables with. So I'll get on and make the Yorkshire puddings. I've seen other people pre-make them, so I don't have to make them when everything's ready, which should take the stress out of it. But we'll see. Let's go. So I'm now going to make my one sin Yorkshire puddings, but they are one sin for the Yorkshire pudding mix, but I think I am going to double up on the recipe to make the wraps. The person I originally saw these on Instagram was, I can't remember now, Donna Tackle Slim and World. So it looks like when she's made hers, she has sinned the wrap at 4.5 sins. So she's used the four recipe here. 4 Yorkshire pudding recipe to make one wrap. I'm going to try and see how much mix I get by doubling up the recipe, which would make the Yorkshire puddings, the wraps, 2 sins each. So the ingredients are 30 grams of plain flour, 50 millilitres of, it says whole milk here, I'm going to use skimmed milk from my allowance. I wonder if that affects the sin value of it then. No, because it's using the milk as a healthy extra. I'm going to use 1 egg, a pinch of salt and low calorie cooking spray. So like I said, I am actually going to I'm going to double up on that. So it'll be 60 grams of plain flour, 100 mils of milk, 2 eggs. I'm going to see if that gives me enough mixture to make 4 reasonable size wraps. If not, I'll just make up some more. I'm going to use this tray. Got this small tray here. I thought I had 2 of these. I'll double check. If I've got 2, I'll cook them 2 at a time. If not, I'm going to be cooking them 1 at a time. So I'm going to make the mix up. This is going to go in the oven, be really hot, and then we will go from there and see how that turns out. So I'm just blending up my Yorkshire pudding mix. I've actually done it times 4. So 4 eggs, 120 grams of flour, 200 millilitres of milk. So I'm using my hand whisk to whisk that up, and my trays have been sprayed with fry light, and I'm heating those up in the oven. My Yorkshire puddings are in. I'm a little bit concerned they're going to rise too much to be a wrap, but I'm sure they'll fall again when we take them out. But they're looking good. It smells really nice in here. This little pressure cooker is just bopping along. It's not making any noises. It's really quiet. I'm really excited to see what our beef comes out like. we'll see. Okay, so it says end, and my little floaty thing here has dropped. So I feel like I am safe to open my pot and take a look at my beef. It literally smells so good. I can see that this is just going to be like pull apart lovely. Just took the lid off and opened up my pot. The beef looks absolutely amazing. I've been doing a few bits, so I haven't actually got the rest of the dinner ready. So I've just pressed the keep warm button to keep it warm. And I'm going to prep and do my potatoes and vegetables. And then in a little while, I'll take the beef out and shred it. And then I'm going to turn it to saute because apparently I can use that to then thicken up the gravy. That's the plan anyway. And I'll show you what it looks like. But it smells amazing. And I did pull a little bit off the edge, which tasted fabulous too. So good. I'd go as far as to say this is the best beef I've ever cooked. Try a bit.
I know, I did.
You tried them. Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to add in some beef gravy granules. So my gravy is now nicely bubbling away in there. So next up, I am going to make rice pudding. Now, usually, as you know, I make this in the slow cooker, but I'm going to give it a go in the pressure cooker. I have a rice setting on it, and I've been Googling, and I think it takes around 10 minutes. So with the pressure cooker, there is also a sort of depressurizing time period after. So the cooking time is going to be 10 minutes, and then I think it will be 10-15 minutes after that where the pressure cooker relieves the steam before you then open the top and the rice is ready. So I am ready to go with that. I'm going to use the Alpro coconut milk. So as I've mentioned before, I think the SINs, I'll double check, the SINs and hexa value of this is pretty much the same as the almond milk. So I just thought that would make a nice change. So I'm going to use the coconut milk. My flavours that are going to go in my pot are vanilla essence and cinnamon. I need to get some nutmeg because that's really nice to go in rice pudding as well. I've got my Asda rice pudding. I'll go with about 170 grams of that rice with the full 1 litre of the coconut milk. And then I'm just going to add some sweetener. So alternatives to this, if you don't fancy adding sweetener, depending on what toppings you're going to be adding, you can get your sweetness from the fruit and the toppings you're adding. You could also work out the sin value of sugar if you would rather add that. Your Alpro milk, so I'm using the Alpro coconut milk. I have also made it with almond milk. You can also use skimmed milk. So there are lots of variations you can cook on this. Like I say, I am putting in today cinnamon and vanilla essence. I also sometimes add almond essence. I add cinnamon sticks while it's cooking, and like I say, nutmeg is another great flavour. So there are lots of options again of what you can add to that. So I'm focusing today on cooking like some comfort classics childhood meals in the pressure cooker, because pressure cookers are a bit of an old thing that's making a comeback, aren't they? Like we never had a pressure cooker in our family. I'd never tried one, and I only know it as the new thing that's come about. But looking into it, sort of when I mentioned it to my dad, he's like, oh, those things used to explode. And I think obviously these new models are made totally safe, and that is why you have like that time period at the end where the steam is coming, the lid automatically locks. There's lots of safety measures on it, as opposed to the old fashioned ones where the lid was locked on. If the valve blocked, then you had a problem because there was all that steam in there. So it's amazing. I am So I made that beef with this, and the beef was absolutely delicious. The gravy was so tasty and the meat was so tender it just fell to bits. So that was a really, really nice dish. Who doesn't love a comforting roast beef and Yorkshire pudding dish? So now I'm going to go in with another classic, which is rice pudding. I don't know about you, but I always remember rice pudding as a kid. It was always one of my favourites. And as an adult who's following Slim and Well, it is definitely one of my staple foods that I really enjoy to eat. So I am now going to prepare that. I am just going to put everything into the cooking pot that goes into my pressure cooker. This is a really good size. So I've got the 5.7 litre, but you can see this is massive, this pot. So the beef joint I cooked, or any casseroles and stews that you're going to make, it's a great size for family cooking. Right, anyway, let's put my ingredients in and let's get making this rice pudding. Hi and welcome back. So I am about to cook my next pressure cooker dish. I am cooking a spaghetti bolognese today. So when I was thinking of what dishes to check out in the pressure cooker, I just wanted to pick some of our favourite dishes that we eat as a family. And I don't think you can beat a spaghetti bolognese. I don't know about you, but it is something that I cook weekly. So I love a spaghetti bolognese. I find it quite a quick meal to cook in the pan, but we all know that cooking it over a long period of time is going to get all those flavours in and make it really yummy. I'm following a recipe, vaguely. I'm not exactly following a recipe, but I've looked for guidance online, and the recipe I found is on Easy Peasy Food. So she has just said that obviously the bolognese is going to come out of the slow cooker similar to how you would have it, with all that flavour in the sauce that you would get from a slow cooker, but without taking all of that time. It says from start to finish, this recipe takes just 30 minutes, but tastes like you've been slaving over the stove for hours. Obviously, I am using my products that make this Slim and World friendly. So I am going to start by spraying my inner, got this inner case. So I'm going to start by spraying that. I'm using some Flora sunflower spray. I believe this is 5 sprays for half a sin. I just thought I would give it a go instead of Fry Light, because you can get your olive oils and sunflower oils in a spray form. Obviously they do hold a sin value, but it's very low, 5 sprays for half a sin. And then this is being split between, say, 4 people. So I'm going to go for 10 sprays. I am going to switch my pot on to saute and then start. So that will start to heat up. You can always see you've got your preheating light and then your cooking light. And I have just chopped up some onion, peppers and carrots, which I'm going to pop in first. I love adding vegetables to my bolognese. However, it is something that my children complain about. So I am not using all of my mince. I'm going to make them their separate one with sauce. But this recipe does say that these veg virtually dissolve into the sauce. So possibly, this may be a good one for any of you with fussy kids like mine, of getting these vegetables in without them knowing about it. Just turn my vegetable, I'm just going to turn my kettle on. Stock-wise, I'm going to be using the red wine stock pots. If you haven't tried these added such a nice flavour to the beef I done the other day. I don't know about you, but I don't really want to put my wine in my food. I know that the chefs of you will be looking at me and pulling a face, but if I've got a bottle of wine, I want to drink it, sorry. So yeah, they do these in red wine, white wine, lots of flavours. Because I don't go to the supermarket very often, I feel I miss out on looking and finding things like these. So I'm going to make more of an effort to get to the supermarket. My herb mix I'm going to use is the JD Seasonings Bolognese mix. So that will be going in there. And of course, I am using the less than 5% fat lean beef mince. Like I say, I'm not going to use all of this. This is a 1,000 gram pack. I will probably leave like a third of it, use a third of it and leave some for the boys. And I'm also going to be using a tin of chopped tomatoes. So I will just wait for that to heat up a bit more. I'll be mixing my stock. I'm going to make up 300 millilitres of stock. I think that'll be enough. We'll see. So my pot's beeping. That is to say that we are now on cooking time. So we are hot and ready to go. I'm going to pop my veggies in. You can hear them starting to sizzle. Oops, I'm making a right mess here. Obviously, you could replicate this dish using corn mince, which would make a great veggie option. And also, if you want to, just add loads more veg. It bulks out the dish and it's adding our speed foods, lower calorie foods in. So it's just good all round, really. Right, so I'm going to leave that to saute for a little while. I'm going to give them 2 to 3 minutes and then I will add the beef mince in. Obviously, once you've cooked this, if you're not going to use all of it, once it's cooled down, put it in a sealed pot and that can go in the freezer. And I think you're good to keep it in the fridge for 2 to 3 days and pot it up separately and take it for your lunches to work. I did also see another recipe which included putting the spaghetti in here as well, which I will try another time, but I'm actually eating out tonight, so I'm not in for dinner. I'm cooking this one for tomorrow evening because tomorrow is weigh day Wednesday, so I'm going to put this in my flask and take this to weigh in with me. So I don't really want to do the spaghetti in with the mix when I'm going to be reheating it. I just feel it'll be fresher to make my spaghetti, my pasta up tomorrow. If I was eating this now, as in for dinner straight afterwards, 100% would try the pasta one. And in future, I will include that in a vlog. I will try that. But as it stands today, we're just going to make the bolognese in here. I did realise when I was reading through all the settings on this, I think I mentioned the other day that it does also have a slow cooker function, which is amazing because my slow cooker is absolutely... slow cooker is very old and it definitely needs replacing. So I feel that it is just, rather than replacing that, I will just have this to use as an equivalent. It's got the slow cooker function if I want it. But I'm not sure why I would use it when I've got this pressure cooker function, to be honest. It cooks so much quicker. So as I mentioned, I'm now going to add my beef into the mix. I'll give that a couple of minutes to saute and then I'll put in my bolognese mix and my stock, tin tomatoes, and then put the lid on. Okay. My pressure cooker has just beeped, signalling that my dish has finished cooking. Like I've mentioned before, the float valve is up, which means we do not take the lid off. However, I am going to manually release the steam and that should drop the valve. So shall we give it a go? So when you press the, I don't know if you're close enough. When we press this vent switch, it goes from seal to vent. The steam is going to start coming out of this back section here. It smells lovely. So I'm going to let all that steam out until the float valve drops. Excuse me for the background noise, but I have just turned my extractor on to get rid of some of the steam. Well, I'm not going to be eating this tonight, so I'm going to have a little try now. That is so tasty. It's I'll probably put passata in next time because I usually like a really tomatoey sauce. And I guess without the passata, it's not quite as thick. But that tastes really good. It's definitely got a lot more flavour than when you're just frying it up in a pan. 3 successful recipes. Okay, so that is our 3 dishes cooked. We have done roast beef dinner with Yorkshire pudding wraps. Definitely need a bit more practice on those Yorkshire pudding wraps. They looked a bit rough around the edges, but they did taste really, really good. And I'm telling you, that beef was so succulent and the gravy was so rich. It was amazing. Not 100% sure how that gravy stands as I used the meat juices, but it was good anyway. So second up, we had the rice pudding. That made it such a quick way of cooking it. Obviously, if you're putting it in and you've got a few hours, there's nothing wrong with the slow cooker, but that was literally 10 minutes cook time and 15 minutes to let the steam out. So really quick way of cooking the rice pudding. And using the coconut milk, I love that. Obviously my sweetener had gone hard, so I didn't use any sweetener. I haven't missed that at all, and I won't be using it in future in my rice pudding, which will mean it is 100% sin-free and just using hexane. Last up, I have just made this spag bowl, which is looking, well, not looking, tasting. I just tried it. It really is delicious. So again, another recipe I will be trying again. So considering I've never used a pressure cooker before, everything I've cooked in here has come out pretty much perfect. In all honesty, I probably would do my beef for a little bit less time next time. Even though it was really fall apart and lovely, I would prefer it a little bit less well done. The spaghetti bolognese, that is really tasty. The only change I would make would be to put my passata in, like I said, and the rice pudding was bang on perfect, like couldn't get better on that. So I will 100% be using this again. You will be seeing it in future vlogs. And you guys who already have a pressure cooker, tell me what you cook in yours. What do I need to put in this next? The other thing I was going to cook was a chicken curry, but I didn't get around to that. So yeah, those are the dishes we've done, and I'm very excited to use it again. Like I say, so many functions. Tell me, have you made yogurt before? Is it worth trying? There's a link in my bio if you are at all interested or looking into getting one of these. Even if you're looking for a new slow cooker, I would recommend this because it is a great equivalent. Plus it's got the slow cooker function, so that is win-win. Saves having 2 pieces of equipment for one job because we all run out of space in our cupboards, don't we? So I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. Don't forget to tell me in the comments what you recommend I cook next in the pressure cooker, or if there's anything you would like to see me cook in it in future vlogs. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, if you've enjoyed the vlog, then please do consider liking and subscribing to see future videos as they upload. And I'm going to say a big goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.